Welcome once again. If anybody comes here, apparently my computer just crashed. Usually when this has happened before using my other operating programs, something that has happened, what I have been able to do is actually rejoin the same stream. Apparently right now this stream just died. My computer crashed. Starting to get frustrated because this one had nothing to do. This was not a Windows update. This was just a crash. So that's frustrating. And yeah, it totally closed out my previous live stream. So everything that I did, that I was doing, was completely gone. So I'm gonna restart all over again. So hello everyone. My name's Lewis, also known as MrCameraJunkie. I'm a photographer based out of Hollywood, Florida, where I remind you to upgrade your skills and not your gear. My tip of the day on my previous live stream was that if you are doing photography, to get yourself a tablet. I went onto it. How are you doing, Rob? I see that you're here. Welcome. I appreciate you. It's been a long time having spoke to you. This has been a bit of a debacle, Rob. Like, I had already started a live stream and it crashed 5 minutes in, and not like before, it did not keep it open, so it totally closed out the live stream. I have no way of retapping back onto that live stream, so we're just gonna roll with it. I did all the updates, everything was fine, but this time it was not a Windows update. It literally seemed like something is going on with my computer because it was a hard crash, and that's why I think I wasn't able to regain back into the previous live stream, because it was a hard crash. So that's unfortunate, but we roll with the punches. That's what happens in live streams. I'm really gonna look into this Mac Mini M1, because whether it's Windows updates or something just out of random, I've basically been keeping this computer clean and it's still crashing on me. So I got to figure out what's happening. But I'm also half of mind of just redoing the computer again, because it seems like every time there's an update to one of these operating systems, you know, the software is used to actually run the live streams. Whenever there's an update to OBS, to Streamlabs OBS, to anything, it's just right away is like, you know what, gotta start from scratch. So good thing that I've gotten enough practice in it, but enough about that. How is everyone? Okay, so we got Callie here. Welcome, Callie. How are you? Today we were talking about AI, artificial intelligence, when it comes to programming software. The one that I was referencing before was Luminar A.I. Luminar A.I is the latest iteration of this artificial intelligence program, but I had purchased my copy of Luminar version 4 last year, and I was very happy with Luminar 4. Now, I was contemplating getting the new AI version, but I've heard some things, and you know, it's almost like an Apple product right now, that they've kind of simplified it too much, and that there's really no benefit if you have version 4 to get the new AI, because I'm already accustomed to the 4 and the changes are not that beneficial for someone like me. But if it was someone who hasn't had the program at all and they just starting to look into it, the AI version is probably the best, because it's going to give you the most user-friendly experience with that application, and you can use it straight off the bat. So I was gonna look into it myself, but like I said, I have version 4, and version 4 has been working very well for me. You know, I have to be honest, like, I do my edits the way that I like them, but then when I show my customers the version that I like compared to the version that the AI version, even though it's still my style, but just let the AI do the work, they always go with the AI version. So, you know, I stand corrected, you know, and now it's almost like I purchased $100 editor. Like, if you think about that, right? If I wanted to progress, and I do, and I want to build up my photography business, Oh, okay. Let me turn this off real quick. Randall just sent me a message asking me if it was a Windows update. And you know what? Let me message him back and let him know that it was a hard crash. Hard crash. Let me just dictate this. Streaming now. Yeah, you see like all the notifications, everything that I had set up in the previous hour is all gone, and I just had to click start stream, so we got a new set of updates out there. So I appreciate you guys hanging out here with me. If you have any questions about what I'm talking about, make sure you leave them in the chat so that I can take a look at them. But as I was saying, I did purchase Luminar A.I. I mean Luminar 4 before they called it a rebranded, like the AI version, and I would show that to my clients and they would pick. Come on, that's not. Sorry about that. They would pick the AI version. So it's basically like I hired an editor for a one-time fee of $100. The benefit, right? The biggest benefit of the program in my eyes is the amount of time that it's literally saving me on what I mentioned, the tablet, right? Because as I'm editing the pictures, I'm constantly here taking all, doing the work as a photographer and editing my work in the style that I like. But as I'm doing that, I already have the presets to the way that I like my style to be done, whether it's for males, females, landscapes, just general portrait enhancing, sharpening. I have all my different like techniques and styles, and I already have spent the time and I preset them into the Luminar 4. So I can actually go into do a photography shoot, a portrait shoot, and once I dial in the settings on one picture, I can have the AI run and batch the work over all of the images. So I just let the computer sit there as if it were me sitting on this tablet taking care of all of this work, because I've already put in the work initially with the program. And with that being said, it's worked awesome because it's allowed me to do other things while the computer is actually working for me. So can I say, was it worth the money? Absolutely. Absolutely, because the amount of time that it has saved me in editing and being on this tablet, just working it out, just if you were to do like $1 an hour, it already saved me more than $100 per hour, because I think it's already saved me over 100 hours in front of a computer. So there's a saying that I've been using lately, which is, if it makes your life easier, it's worth it. And this program is absolutely worth it. So where I feel that most people are actually afraid of using an artificial intelligence program, I think they're thinking about it incorrectly. And that's why I'm going to bring this up. Wow. I know you got to hear Aiden. So apologies for, but I let him play. So, but he is making some serious noise. Okay. Where was I? Okay, yes, I think that people are thinking about the AI wrong. They think that the artificial intelligence is going to do all of the work for them. It's not really like that. Or it could be, if that's what you're looking to do. If you're looking for a program to do everything for you, like hiring an editor, these programs, the ones that are coming out, man, they're really remarkable. Now, the way that I'm using it is to not lose touch with my style, is that I've programmed the program to run its AI as if it were me. So it's catered to me and to my style. And yeah, it has its presets, but I don't use those. I use my presets because I put in the time, and that way I guarantee that I get the results that I like. So let me go to the chat. Okay, so we have Rob here. We have Callie says, come on over to the Mac side, Lewis. The M1. Yeah, I'm thinking about it right now because there's a couple of things. Ecamm, like I said, Ecamm itself, even though a lot of people are saying that it's great, there's a couple of things that keep me away from it. Like right now, I have separate video capture cards for every single input onto my computer, and it works perfect, you know, because I'm getting a high quality feed. And it was the most inexpensive way to get an overhead cam to be able to see the computer. Like I'm gonna show you right now, like this is my computer where I'm still in the shot, and I'm able to do all of these things. With Ecamm, it's a little bit different, you know, and let me get to that one. And with the Ecamm, it's like it's more suited for someone who has like an A10 mini, you know, so it has like a bunch of video feeds into one, and then that's the one that's being pumped out, so you have like a physical control on like your desktop. That would be ideal, but that's another $400 or $500. So for that reason being, you know, computer, A10 mini, and all of these things, for something that's still right now, and I'm just being real, still right now a hobby. You know, this doesn't pay me. I love doing this because I have so much fun doing it. But with that, it's kind of tough to just make a whole switch over when I know the real investment that I would have to do to get the production to the way that I want it. So I'm still working those things out. Okay, let's go back. Rob says the M1 seems nice. However, I know the moment I purchase it, they're all going to release the new model and I'll put my hair out. I don't know. I don't think so. But, you know, if that's how you are, it could be just because it's new. And you know what? And that's the whole thing. Like, there's a lot of people who felt that way because they bought the 2019, right, or 2020 version of the MacBook Pro with the Intel i9 processor. And now with that Intel i9 processor, you compare that to the new M1 MacBook Pros, doesn't even compare battery life, and people feel slighted. They feel slighted, like, oh, now I have a piece of crap. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, just because there's a Ferrari on the road doesn't mean your Lexus is no good. You understand? Like, I just don't understand how people can conceive that way. Like, if this M1 would have never existed, would they have felt any different? No. But if you invested your money into the 2020 i9 MacBook Pro because it served all of your needs and it's still doing it, why are you upset if there's something out there that's just a little bit better? Like, for me, you know where you're at currently and always compare it to your previous version, not to the latest and greatest. Because if I were to compare the camera that I'm using right now to the 61 megapixel R4 or the 50 megapixel A1, I'll be like, oh yeah, but this is a 42.2 megapixel monster. And whenever I show whenever I show anyone my images, nobody's ever asking me how many megapixels is my camera, if that makes any sense. They just see it, they say, that looks great, that's amazing, how did you do that? Compared to was this a full frame or was this a medium format? Like, these are the questions that other photographers ask other photographers. So you need to know your place, so to speak, and know that when you're in it to, you know, create art and create portraits and different things like that, that the final result is all that really matters. And stop, like, just basically, you know, stop trying to please other photographers when they're not your clients. You know, so make sure that your clients are happy, because I like super hyper realistic images. People don't like seeing wrinkles on their face. you know, but that's me. So what the product that I give them is not something that I particularly like, but I know that that's what they want, you know. Like, it's not that I don't like it. I love my photography, but like I said, for me, I like almost black and white, super contrasty, hyper realistic, you know, like I'm a pixel peeper, and to see all like, oh, that's what I like to see in images. And I do that for myself. But when it comes to the product that you're providing for somebody, that's a totally different ballgame. And that's where I totally agree, where the customer is always right. And if they want soft skin that looks like a Barbie doll, then that's what you give them. Okay, so educate me on this. Luminar AI will take your photos and process your photos into the best possible outcome all on its own. Well, let me just touch on it a little bit, right? I have a preset, right, where I would take a female photo, right, like a female portrait, and I would adjust the settings completely different than I would for a male portrait. Because on the female's portrait, I'm gonna bring up the saturation on the lips to highlight like their makeup, or, you know, their lip gloss, however, whatever it is that they're using. You know, different accents, maybe a little bit of face slimming. All those things come into play. And then I save that preset for women's portraits. And then I will not do the same type of saturation on the lips when it comes to male portraits, if that makes sense. So now that I have like my setups already in there, the aspect that the AI really comes into play is that it knows the difference between photographs, what are lips, what are eyes, what are teeth, hair, saturation, hands, skin tones. All of that stuff is built into this program. So when I tell it, hey, this is a female picture, so I want you to saturate the lips like this and all that, so on and so forth, it's going to do it according to the settings that I gave it, because it's preset. So maybe that helps you with understanding on how. So now, once I have my white balance correct on a set of photos, you know, like let's say I picked the top 20 photos that I like for the photo shoot, I now have them in a folder, bring them over to Luminar, click the preset that I want to use on it, and I allow Luminar to do that preset on every single one of those photos, and I just sit back and relax. Right there, I just let the computer do its thing, and it takes a while, you know, because it's not something that's just like instant. It's gonna go photo by photo and figure everything out, like where the eyeballs are, you know, like everything, highlight the eyes, bring up everything that I mentioned before, and it's gonna do it per photo for 20 photos that I don't have to sit there in front of the computer and do it myself. It allows me to spend time with Aiden, clean, you know, like work on other things. And that's why I say, when it comes to that, the amount of time that that program itself has saved me, bar none. Whenever somebody like, yeah, I had to suck it up, it's a better portrait editor than me. I admit it. That's it. Hey, they did an excellent job. But I purchased the program, so now I get to utilize all of the works of that amazing artificial intelligence editor. Okay. Can it do batch photo editing, handle raw photos? Is video supported? Video is not supported. No. That's the batch photos, yes. Raw, yes. Mario saying, what happened to all the jokes I made? They were so bad. Hi, Lewis. Hello. Well, Mario, thank you for showing up to this stream. The computer had a hard crash. Hard crash. It wasn't an update or anything like that. I got a blue screen, frowny face, the whole 9. I was trying to get my phone out so I can get a scan of the QR code that it popped up to see what it could have been, but I definitely have to take a look at what happened on the computer. Just hard crash. So that sucked. That's why I don't think I was able to hop onto the stream like before, and I was just forced to create this stream all over again and just go live, because the option wasn't even there like previous times where the chat stays open and and I'm able to hop back on and continue with the live stream. That did not happen this time. So thank you for finding this stream and hopping back on. Same to you, Randall. Appreciate it. Randall says, let's see what hold on. Mario saying hi to everyone, saying hi to Aiden. Do OBS Lewis on Mac? Welcome back, Mario. I believe OBS can be done on Mac. Yeah. I gotta check it out. Let me see if Streamlabs OBS could be done on Mac, because I did like it. I might set up something. Yeah, I might see if I can get this old one to work on it. Something. I'm gonna be working on it this week, because I actually think it has something to do with the computer, because it was actually giving me an issue on another stream when I actually tried to go on a Twitch stream, and it crashed twice on me. But I also think it was the Twitch program, so I really have to figure it out, because yeah, that wasn't blue screens, that was Twitch that kept crashing. So we're gonna figure it out. It's just unfortunate that I thought I had everything right and it still did it on me. So, but we'll continue. Okay, so Rob says, good thing I missed them if they were that bad. That's a good one, Rob. Okay. About the 2017 Mac in February 2019. 4 months later, they came out with a 2019 Mac. But that's what I said. Like, what was the computer that you upgraded from before that? That's all that you have to consider, because right now the Mac that I'm running is a i5. And hold on, I have it here. I think it's 2013. I don't even think it's a 2015, if I checked it correctly. Wow, late 2012. So my Mac Mini is 8 years old. So it's a late 2012 Mac Mini dual core Intel i5 with 16 gigs at 1600 megahertz, and I have a gig and a half of memory on the video card, and it's an Intel HD 4000 graphics. I put an SSD hard drive on it, and it actually works really well. Like, it really improved the difference with the SSD hard drive. But my computer's 8 years old, so if I were to upgrade this Mac Mini to the new one, even the 8 gig, the performance is going to be out of the water. You think I'm going to be worried about that they're going to come out with the newest one, and then I'm going to have to budget more money for that one? I don't know. That's just me. But hopefully, well, not hopefully, but in the future, when this endeavor here starts producing more funds, I'm able to invest back into the channel, into getting these little things to upgrade the entire production value. So, oh, and Randall, a mocha cafe in your honor. I needed that before I went live. I needed a coffee bad, because just one heck of a week. But I wish everyone well just the same way, because it was just, I, as an adult, I felt I needed a nap. That's how bad it was. Like, so I'm like, I need a nap, man. Why did they take naps away? That's a good question. Nap should be something that we all get as a professional after lunch, but I digress. Let's go back to this. Randall says, I wonder if the Luminar AI will work on the M1 MacBook Air. Absolutely. I actually think the new AI version is already optimized for the M1 Max. I could be wrong, but I believe that they're one of the companies that's, up to date with the new M1 software. Luminar iOS app may work on the M1. I wonder if you can buy one at a time or pay it annually. It's a one-time fee. Randall, it's a one-time fee. You buy it one time and you own it outright. I bought it $100. Gives me the license for 2 computers and I just own it. That's it. No extra. That's one of the features that I absolutely love. I go back from the days of when Photoshop was a you purchase it program and you own it. The subscription thing, people don't even realize that in 1 year you pay in subscription what the program used to cost outright for like Photoshop or anything. They were all standalones. It wasn't like, hey, you're getting the whole bundle. I'm like, yeah, why am I paying for 7 programs that I don't use? Yeah, they're great, but I don't use them. So why am I paying for them? And I go back to the days where I would just pay for Photoshop or pay for Premiere, and those are the things that I needed, and that was it. So Rob says, I think your computer is talking to my computer. Mine just crashed, however, it was able to go back to where the conversation is. I'm a few minutes behind real time now. That's funny. It's going around, huh? Mario saying that they were awful. I was gonna ask you to block me tonight. I had too much coffee. We're all enjoying coffee from what it seems like tonight. The Mac 2017 was my first Mac since a pretty old Mac with monochrome screen. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Okay, so just now I remember that I can delete my bad jokes in the chat. Mario, I didn't even get to read them. I was 5 minutes in addressing everyone and boom, we were gone. That was just like, it was a little deflating, but I'm fine now. This is way too much fun. It's not a joke. For your DIY small product photography photo studio, should white the walls be matte or shiny? I prefer matte. I think the shiny really reflects a lot more, especially in the shine. So like, for example, when you do portraits, you're trying to remove shine, especially off of the person and everything. So you're trying to get it sort of to like a sharp but matte look. That's what's pleasing to the eyes. It's soft. It's, you can just look at it all day, but yet there's still details in it, so that's what allows you to want to look at it all day. So I definitely say matte walls. They will also disperse the light, and even if you're not that far away, saying that you're pretty close to the wall, with a good lens you'll still be able to get a more dramatic like bokeh effect with the matte, because there is no shine, so you won't be able to see the texture in the wall as highlights with the shiny finish. So always go matte, flat, matte, flat. Okay, time to get a drink. So yes, when it comes to paint, recommend flat, matte, flat. Watch your video. Okay, let me see this. Okay, it says watch your video of it and have been interested in it since, but I really don't do any modifications on my pics, but would like to add text to them. If you want to just add text to an image, it depends on how you want to distribute it. The easiest thing that I found to add text to an image is an application on my iPhone. So if you're using it from the Mac, I would tell you to take the image, and once you have it ready the way you like it, airdrop it to your phone, and then from your phone there's various apps that allow you to add text, make it very easy. And the one that I use is called Fontu. Almost like, if you, am I saying that right? I'm so bad with names. Phonto. Phonto. Okay. And that is a photo editor. The reason why I like that one is because it allows me to save whatever text that I'm using in the image as a PNG, which is a picture negative file, digital negative. Kind of holding the highest quality of the image that you have there, instead of compressing it to a JPEG, while adding the high quality text to it. And that's what I use for all of my thumbnails. Excuse me. For all of the thumbnails on the channel. So that's the program that I've been using for a long time. Wow. Completely dry. Wow. All right, in the middle of my words. But yeah, that's the program that I've been using, because it does not compress the file, and it gives me the highest quality with adding the text. And it doesn't really because I've moved the file and made a copy to my phone, it's not like destructing the original that's in Lightroom or Photoshop or anything like that. That way, if you don't have a Photoshop and you don't have a program like that, I think this was just like, I think it was like $5 to pay for it, for the app. And like always, pay for it one time, not subscription, and just have it. I've been using it for years. Okay. Oh, how you doing, Scott? Welcome. He says, Mario, at the photography school I attended, black walls were used for commercial photography. Aiden, are you okay? This guy is having a blast over here. That's a good thing, but it just depends on, well, with the studio, Scott, I could imagine with all the lights and everything like that, if you are using it like a home studio, I would recommend the white, because you can have more light bounce off the walls, which will give you a softer look. You could actually throw a light modifier or flash against the wall to get an even softer bounce on it. And you could always throw like a V flat or a, just a sheet of black to get that same, portrait photography with the black, image behind it for the portraits. But that's just me thinking ahead of time. If you have a studio and you have the ability, yeah, it would be really nice to have almost like a warehouse stage with matte black walls. That would look awesome. Oh, he said pre-owned Mac was before you were born, Lewis. The message said 2017, so I guess that's what threw me off. So pre-owned Mac was before you were born, and that was the one with the monochrome screen that I could imagine. Was it before I was born? Because I was born in 81, so I did go to school and I dealt with those monochrome Macs as the first computers that I used in school. Scott says it's about light control. Absolutely, exactly. Well, that's what we always try to do, right? We always flag light. You have negative fills. You're always blocking out like all the windows to make sure. That's why I said like a warehouse you know, where you could just blacken it out with matte black walls. That would be awesome. Rob says, my 3 MacBook Pros are late 2013 trash can models. Look sexy, however, 8 years old, so I'm not that far ahead of you. However, they still perform well. Yeah, they perform well. I don't know which size you had, but it was just till last year that I had my 2012, 2013 15-inch MacBook Pro. It was the Intel i7 quad-core processor. That thing was awesome for me, man. Like, I used it so much. And the only reason why I got rid of it, it was because I had upgraded to the 2015 from the 2012. And now I have that one, and that was the last one that they made with the SD card, and I was happy with that. I wanted it because of the SSD hard drives and the upgraded, like, you know, hardware, because compared to my previous version, this is great. And that's what I said, that one still works fine. But that's actually the one that I was thinking, you know, just to give you a little insight, that's my best spec'd out Mac. So what I was thinking was either I can try to do it on one of these Mac minis, or just try to use an external hard drive, an external SSD, and run it off of the internals of my Mac, so that I'm not, you know, reformatting my hard drive and using that aspect on it. You know, using that hard drive, put a brand new installation of the OS X on it, just so that I can run like the eCam and see how the things are. The one downfall to that is that to do it that way, I'm going to be utilizing one of the USB ports. It only has 2. So then I'm right back kind of to the same thing of just limited to only one connection as far as video. So that means that I would only have this one, you know, static shot, and I wouldn't have the ability to switch over to others unless I have like an ATEM mini. So it's right there. Okay, go frappe mocha. Yeah, it's good, and the thing is that it's surprising how much like pick me up it gives me. Like, it never fails. I can feel really tired, like I was. Like today, I felt like I needed a nap, and you know, right before I got home, I stopped off, got that, and I've been enjoying it. And man, that's why I'm awake right now, because if not, I think I'd just be. I literally felt like I might have fallen asleep at a red light. Like, that's how tired. But we're here. So Scott saying funny to Randall. Yes, Randall, you spelt it perfectly. Fonto. 1984. You were 3 at the time. Yep, 1984. Yep, it was what, like 1987, 88 when they started bringing those machines into the schools. Scott says, my portraiture studio had flat white walls, but in the commercial we photographed a lot of jewelry and glassware. The rooms were pitch black, including the doors and the trim. That's nice. That's it. You know, now that you mention it, it is the hardest thing to get like that full black for jewelry. One tip that I've seen for product photography in that aspect and jewelry, which I really liked, was that they just put like a black backdrop, but then on the black like table they just put a little bit of water, so the reflection was all black, and then the jewelry just like was floating in the water. Those pictures came out really nice. You know, that's a good question. You know, you didn't even bring it up, but I'm saying that's a good question because that's how my mind works. Sorry. How would the AI, because I wanted to bring it back to the conversation piece, the artificial intelligence, how would AI handle the product photography, like just right off the bat? That seems interesting. Now, the differences between the AI version that Luminar has of this program comparative to the version 4 that I have is that it literally does the thinking for you. Now, this new version, what it does is that it will, like, you will give it the picture and it will categorize that picture comparative to all the pictures that it recognizes, so that it will recognize if it's a portrait compared to a landscape compared to a product photography. It's supposed to know the difference and then give you options and tips to like where to start. That's why I heard that it's better for people who have never touched the program to work with the AI version. So it seems very interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna see how this Luminar 4 version actually works for product photography or like food photography, what it would do or how I would program it. So that's a good thought experiment, so to speak. Oh, Scott says, I thought Randall meant when picking paint for a photo studio interior, go frappe mocha. Randall says, if you get the basic the M1 Mac Mini with the Stachi hub that holds the external SSD and has SD cards and extra USB ports, that hub should work with your Mac Minis that you have now. But you see, if it works with what I got now, then I can start using it now. You know, that's a great tip. Thanks. Rob says, Mac Pros, not MacBook Pros. I must have fat fingers. Oh no, well, then you mean iMacs. Because that's the whole thing. I guess I'm just so computer literate because it's what I do that I know that if it says MacBook or Mac Pros, there's the MacBook Pros. But they were never called the iMac Pros. They were called the iMac, if I'm correct. Or maybe I'm wrong. There's so much stuff out there. Like, you know, just to touch on this aspect, I fix iPhones because it's just iPhones. When people come at me with Androids, I'm like, what kind of Android? Is it a Samsung? Is it a Motorola? Is it an LG? Is it a Qualcomm? Is it a this? What version operating system is it uses? Is it Jelly Bean? Is it, you know, like, oh, there's so many nuances when it comes to Android that's why I just stay away. And I'm like, yeah, with iPhone, I can really, you know, niche down and provide a better experience for the iPhone, you know, community comparative to the Android community. So I still help out the Android for my clients who need it and have it. But if it were up to me, preferably, I would only fix iPhones all day. Okay, Randall says, I thought AI also can learn about the user's favorite settings. Maybe the new one it can. Maybe that's exactly what it does, and I haven't used it at all. But you see, that's exactly what I mean. Like, I did that work in the version 4, and that's probably what makes it easier. You know, that on top of the AI knowing how to fix pictures, what it really, the AI version could be doing is learning how you like to fix pictures. That way, if it learns how you like to fix pictures, it's effectively doing the same thing that I had done before, which was when I set it to female portraits or male portraits, it already knows the settings that I like to produce the images the way that I like them. That sounds cool. I gotta look into it. Okay, so you can use mirror to shoot products on, and if the background is black and the table looks like glass, of course it would reflect any color and is much more useful than the white plexiglass. I can imagine. Aiden is having a blast. Okay. Plus mirrors are scratch resistant and waterproof too. So you would use the mirror as like the base against the black wall, and then maybe even use the water as well. That's, see, great tips. You can use it now. The hubs open up so many use options. Callie, what are you talking about exactly that I can use now? Maybe I lost track. It says you can use it now. The hubs open up so many use options. Scott saying hi to Callie, to Chocolate Yoga Twist. Chocolate Twist Yoga, right? Did I say? Yeah. See, I'm so bad with names that I'm like dyslexic with the names and I'm flipping them around. Randall says OCW has hubs too. Oh, okay, so that's what we're talking about, the hubs. Oh, so I guess that's what Callie was saying. It says you can use it now, which is the hubs. This says the hubs open up so many USB options or so many use options. Okay, I got it now. Thank you for that. Okay, but yeah, I gotta check it out because I did like the fact that you can install the SSD into it. See, look. Thank you for the information, but my mind just starts running around with these items. So what I can do is I could actually get that hub, install the hard drive, connect it, and run an entire new operating system onto that hard drive. And maybe that could be the one that I use for the streaming. So that could be it. All right. Well, guys, do you have any other questions about the AI Luminar? Like how maybe you might use it, you know? Because I'm here to answer any questions, or if you have any questions at all about anything, cameras, so on and so forth. Today I was on Clubhouse and I was listening into Clubhouse and I was asked to be pulled into to answer questions, but there was a massive like rainstorm and I was in my car and I'm on the highway and I'm caught in the storm to the point where I can't even hear the conversation coming out of my phone or even like participate in it. That's how bad the weather was today. But that all has to do with everything. Over here in South Florida, you know, you have perfect weather and you make a left turn into the worst, which is the crazy thing. Like you make a left turn into a hurricane. Okay, so let's see. Rob says, no, not IMAX. You know, the Mac Pro, Dark Towers, Darth Vader model, cylinders. Oh, I totally forgot about those cylinder models. Wow, I never owned one. That's why. I guess to me, it totally skipped a generation. But yeah, those were really nice. They were really nice looking. How do they perform? Because I remember when they were coming out, I was at the shop. That was before this guy was born, you know? Yeah, so before he was born, that's when I remember that I had gotten the like the schematics, I guess, or kind of like the blueprint of what the insides was gonna look like, and I was like very interested because of that cylindrical design. So that seems very, man, I totally forgot about that. Thanks, Rob. See, so much stuff, you know, and you know, that's where I really go and I tell people, I'm like, I've forgotten a lot of stuff. I've forgotten more than most people have known. And that's crazy, especially when it comes to computers, because I've been in it for so long. Randall says, I was thinking the same about the AI learning on what you like to use. Yeah, everything right now is AI. And people are talking about like, yeah, is AI gonna take up? Like, listen, we've been using AI algorithms for like over a decade now, like legit. 2008, it was already rolled out and being used. That's why, even Facebook has all this artificial intelligence that's just there to figure out which ads to feed you. They know what's going on. Okay, so it says, but I also believe that the Lumina company, or Luminar, integrates different users on their settings to share it with everyone that uses their company. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt that they would constantly be getting like a feedback from, like the settings that I apply to it to add to the like brain of photo editing with the Luminar AI. I wouldn't doubt it. Okay, so Mario saying thank you to Scott for the black and white matte. Callie saying I have the 2015 MacBook Pro and the late 2020 and still live on my 2015. See? Maybe so you got the late 2020, so you got the not the M1, you got the, which one did you get? The i7 or the i9 on the MacBook Pro in the late 2020? And did you get the one with the touch bar? Is that the touch bar model? Because the whole thing is that I've heard people knocking on this touch bar so much, and then when I actually looked into it, I was like, that seems pretty cool. Now, I'm just gonna give you my perspective. I do a lot of typing on my iPad, and one of the reasons why I like it is because when I'm in the middle of typing, the keyboard is just underneath the screen, and a lot of the words that I'm in the middle of typing pop up there. So I've already gotten accustomed that while I'm typing, I just extend my middle finger at like just to the top and hit the word and keep it going. Keep it going. So just with that little nuance, I was like, I love typing on my iPad, and I believe that the touch bar does the same exact thing. So it's very interesting. Okay, Scott saying anytime to Mario. Don't forget to change your clocks ahead tonight. We're losing an hour. Oh, Randall. I feel defeated right now. i9 touch bar, and I use it with the Cal Digit Hub. Nice. Oh man, Randall just Randall, thank you for the information. How you doing, Sly? Welcome. Saying hello, Lewis, and my favorite junkies. Look at this. Okay, she says, sorry I'm late. I've been listening in the car on the way home. And your head and shoulders above my level of expertise. Okay. Well, welcome, Sly. I'm not sure exactly what you meant by that level of expertise, but I appreciate you hanging out and listening in while you're driving. I have some chocolate still on my lip. Look, everything, even chocolate on my lip. Let me make sure I don't got anything else. Okay, we're good. Keep it going. Oh yes, the time change. That is a little deflating. I'm not gonna lie. I was just talking like for the beginning half of this stream how I feel like that I needed a nap today, and that's why I'm drinking coffee at this time, because I needed that boost. And then Randall just drops the bomb and says, "Oh, we lose an hour." So that little extra time that I thought I might be able to sleep in on a Sunday, not gonna happen for me. Oh, you know what? We're missing Aaron. That's who. I haven't heard Aaron because that's for Aaron and for Norm. You know what I've also noticed? My air horn is a little different from everyone else's because mine is an actual air horn. I've seen that everyone else's air horn is like kind of already pre-recorded. So it gives you like 3 tee 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 tee, and every time it does the same thing. Mine, if I just want to do it once, it's just once. If I want to do it multiple times, as many times as I want. So I have a lot of fun with mine. So I noticed that on Peter Gregg's live stream yesterday, like every time his was just 3 times, every single time it was the same exact clip. So I guess that's just, camera junkie and YouTube junkie, things that we notice. Okay. So Randall says, yes, I know I hate the time change too. Sly says, my calendar says daylight saving starts next week. Scott says, JK, I think Randall is messing with us. That's not nice, Randall. He says, well, my friends at work are messing with me, so that means that I can sleep an extra hour on Monday. Hey, yeah, blame it on them. Okay, so it is saying daylight savings is on the 14th, I believe. You are forgiven, Randall. Okay, that's much better. See? Then that deserves all those air horns that I did. So we have plenty. Oh, that's good news because I'm exhausted. But like I said, I have too much fun on these live streams. I hope you guys are having fun too. I really appreciate all of you guys hanging out because I do. I have so much fun. And yeah. Well, do you guys have any other topics that you guys want to talk about? Because I think I've spoken enough about the AI. I don't know if you guys have any questions about any gear, maybe before we close out the night, anything like that. Another thing, I have a question for you guys. Maybe you can help me out. I was also on Clubhouse, right? I might change my name to Clubhouse Junkie, but I digress. We'll talk about that another day. But I was on Clubhouse. We were doing a room, and I had a network professional, someone in television production, an on-air personality, tell me and a friend of mine, Curtis, that we should be voice actors and that the voice that we have should be utilized for some type of voice work. So what do you guys think? Do you think that's something that I should look into, or pursue? Because that could be something that is legitimate work from home that could allow me to maybe produce more content and start becoming a full-time content creator, which is obviously the goal. So let me know what you guys think. I was actually thinking about getting in touch with one of the Callie's here, the Let's Get Live crew, to see if maybe they needed any voiceover work that I can actually attempt to do for them, to see how that goes, just to kind of get my feet wet, because there's some options, one of them being narrating books, and I was given some information about a website where you can start collaborations with authors to narrate the books and share on the royalties. So there's a lot of options. I would just love to know what you guys think, because I've never thought myself that way, I'd like to be a voice actor, but it was something that was presented to me and from an industry professional to tell me you need to be doing that. I guess it's just stuck with me. So I would love to know you guys' thoughts. Okay, Rob says those Mac Pros have worked really nice as a Final Cut render farm using Apple compressor. Is that all you use them for? Just like to farm out the work with compressor? Randall says, spring break, folks, stay safe. Rob says, one new M1 Mini would likely replace the need for the render farm. Wow. So then think about it this way, Rob, right? Let's be real. Those are older Mac towers, right? The cylinder towers. How much can you sell them for? And if you have two of them, right? If you have two of them, how much can you sell each one for? And if you can sell both of them to make some money, even though you replace it with an M1, to me, I think that's worth it. First of all, one computer is less likely to fail than having to rely on two computers. And if you're farming out the work that you're not really using them except for just that to actually like do the over processing, I agree that the M1s would probably just take that render time and just cut it in no time. So what are you waiting for? Like me, that's exactly what I'm doing. I have this, I have an iMac that I'm trying to sell, and I'm just trying to sell a couple of pieces together to see if I could accumulate the funds so that it's, you know, it's like a no-brainer. I'm like, okay, I sold that to buy that. Excuse me. And I think that the M1 is what I'm looking to get as my next piece. Once I have the M1, I'm probably then going to start selling my minis because they're just going to be sitting here not doing anything. So those are the things where I'm at, because I'm a person who, like, I don't count my chickens until they're hatched. So I won't be getting rid of my computers before, because if then I need to work or render some files, do some editing, videos, photos, anything, and I'm like, oh, but I still don't have enough for like the new computer that I needed to do replacement. No, I'll wait till I have it in hand. You know, like that, the other saying, a bird in hand is worth two in a bush. Exactly. So I need to have it in my hands and know that it's going to take over my workflow before I start, you know, moving those things over. So Callie is saying yes, question mark. Randall saying, you got the voice to do that, Lewis. Rob says, I think Peter Gregg is using the YouTube free air horn. Okay. And Yoga, Kelly saying yes on the voice work. Oh, so it wasn't a question mark, it was an exclamation mark. Well, thank you. Randall says the M1 have brought the Apple prices of old computers down quite a bit. That's why I was saying to Rob, you know, see exactly what you can get. But the thing is that because it's older technology, the value of the technology is always going to be decreasing. So like you gotta, that's almost like a stockbroker mentality, you know, sell high, buy low. Well, right now, if you're buying these machines, then you're in good. But if you're selling it right now, the prices are plummeting because of the new hardware. So I would say get the most that you can for your machines right now, if they're not the main machine, right? Because you're using them to render the render farm. So if you were to disconnect them from the farm, it's not like you're losing the work or like the ability to work off the machine. And then that's something that I would say, you know what, if they're just sitting here, let me see what price I can get for them, whether it's combo sold together or selling them individually one by one and just like removing them as you sell them. And that's what I would do. Especially, I think you might still be able to sell one of them for the price that the Mac M1 Mini cost, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong because it was just till earlier today I didn't even remember that they existed, that they had made that model. So I would definitely check it out. But if you have good software built into it, you know, like a couple of good programs that the person who's going to purchase it is going to utilize, then you could definitely get money's worth out of it. So Sly says, you definitely have the sound. You might need a bit of work on the accent, though. Sly, it's his beard. He needs to shave it. I'm going to shave off my beard for voice acting? No. Sorry, Randall. I've been told I need to start doing audiobooks and voiceovers from several people on Clubhouse as well. I had a few also tell me I should be reading romance novels for Audible. You see, that's exactly what I've gotten, and that was very interesting because once the lady brought it up, like the whole room reciprocated, and I was just like blown away. I was like, whoa, and everybody's like, yes, exactly, like if it was on the tip of everybody's tongue but nobody was saying it, and I was just blown away. That's why I said I was taken back by it, and that's why I even brought it up on the stream, because it's something that's, like I said, if I'm able to collaborate on a book, and that's where the book series might benefit me more in collaborating with the authors, because like Sly was just saying, like I might need to work on my accent, right? The good thing is that I'm able to record it, so if I feel like, oh, that sounded a little too much, I can just go back and tweak that aspect, because I'm going to be doing the editing on the audio as well. But some of these authors want that authentic feel to be read on their books. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's almost like if Gary Vee is writing a book and he wants somebody to narrate it, he would want somebody to narrate it with a little bit of like I guess like attitude, or a little a little Gary Vee, so to speak. And if you got a little bit of an accent, then that could help in selling the book, just as long as your voice is pleasing to hear, so you also tend to like the way the person speaks, even if it's not like phonetically correct, I guess. Sly says, Randall, I think he would look even younger without the beard. He needs to keep it for another 20 years or so. I would actually. I look a lot younger. And the funny thing is, I've had my beard for so long. I look at the pictures with me without the beard, and I'm like, I don't like it. That's just me. So if I see it, I'm like, ah. And I don't know. There was a job that I had before that required me to shave off my beard. I did it, and I was just miserable. I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, I could not. And it was the like looking at me in the mirror in the morning, and I'm like, that's not me, So, take that with like a grain of salt, so to speak. I personally like myself with the beard. It is the most comfortable thing too. Maybe that's why I'm so attached to it. Everyone's like, oh, do you think it's so hard? No, having a beard is laziness. It's laziness. I'll admit it, okay? If nobody wants to, I'll admit it. This is the easiest thing to handle. I wake up in the morning and I don't have to worry about shaving or 5 o'clock shadow or anything like that. I trim it once a week and I'm able to tame it throughout the rest of the week. That's what makes it the easiest and the best for me. Rob says, go look on Audible. There's a link to apply to be a voice for them. Can't hurt to try. Go try it. Yeah, that's the whole thing. The one that was referenced to me was called AXC or ACX. I'm not sure exactly. I have it saved on the tab. And that's the one where you like collaborate with the authors before the book is even published. So the author himself is the one who's actually selecting the voice actor. The other aspect of it is that let's say for whatever reason, because that's what we're trying, right? Let's say you like the way that I read books. Then you can follow me through that application so that you're aware of my future books that I'm reading, not so much because you're interested in the book itself, but because you're interested in the way that I read books. So that was mind-blowing to me, but it kind of makes sense. If you like it, it all goes to like what I've mentioned before about audio being so important with video, because you've never heard somebody saying that video was so, like, the quality was so bad my eyes hurt. You've never heard that. You know, you were just saying, oh, the quality was bad. But you have heard people say, like, the audio was so horrible, it felt like my ears were bleeding and I couldn't handle it. I had to get out of there, because audio is that sensitive, so to speak. So if you're able to be pleasing as far as audio goes to somebody's ears, then that's kind of all it takes for them to be a fan of listening to you and to your audiobooks. I know, right? That's the I feel like crazy, but it is. So it's interesting, but I appreciate the feedback, guys, because it is something that was brought up to me this week, and it's something that I've been thinking about. It's like, it's very interesting. I have done some videos, but did not like how my voice sounds. Now I know why people fall asleep on me while I'm talking to them. Well, the one thing that most people don't realize when they start hearing themselves in the third person for the first time is that we're constantly hearing our own voices in our own heads. So our voice is being created down here, and before it goes out to you, it's gonna hit everything inside my head, and I'm listening to me while I'm speaking. I know most people don't think of it that way, but it is. And the proximity of that sound being right here in the dome makes all of the sounds that we hear deeper than what they actually are coming out. So when we hear our voices on a video, it's the way most people hear it, but it's not the way that we hear it in our own heads, because it's missing like some bass, missing some bottom into it. So it's very interesting, and that's why some people get thrown off when they start hearing their own voice. Apparently, well, not apparently, obviously, and without a doubt, I'm already used to hearing my voice. I've edited enough of my videos and enough audio that my voice is just like monotone to me already. Like even right now, just to make sure that everything is going correct, I have an in-ear monitor here that's allowing me to listen to everything, so I can hear the music. I can hear like if there's a distortion or anything that's going out before it goes out to you guys. That's something that I always want to make sure, because I know how important audio is. So I guess and I'm not even an audiophile, you know, like I'm not even someone who starts really breaking down and saying like the sound is so muddy and all. There's so many terms that I really don't know. But once again, I want to thank everyone for the feedback on that. I got to really check out what options are available for me, because if that's another revenue stream that, like I said, will allow me to get closer to my goal of being a full-time content creator, then it's something that I'm really going to look into, and I'm not just going to like brush it off, you know. That's something that could be viable and could be very lucrative. A real, like a legit work from home scenario. That sounds cool, especially for me and for Aiden. Less time for Aiden in the car is best. Talking about that, like we had to, you know, I had to go do a repair. I grabbed Aiden, I put him in the car, and he knew that we were going on a trip. He was so upset. He was looking at me like he was mad, like me buckling him in, you know, to the car seat. And I'm saying, I'm sorry, you know, like I didn't make the rules, but you have to, you know, be buckled down. And he was just so upset. Just, he's mad, like just doesn't want to be in the car at that moment, you know. So for that being said, the more time that I can keep him out of the car, the better. So Sly says, your voice is very pleasing to listen to. you should go for it. Thank you. Thank you again. The 1 terabyte SSD in these Pros are selling for like $300 plus. So worst case scenario, I can get them for that much. Absolutely. You see, that goes to show you, if the hard drive itself is going for 300, you could at least sell the entire computer for like 5. Worst case scenario, 4. But if you can get 500 for each of them, which should be easy, I would still look into the price, like the market price value for what you have in those machines, and price it accordingly. Sell it, maybe even eBay. Once you have that, that should be enough for even the 16 gigabyte version of the Mac M1. And if you get the 16, you know it is gonna outdo both of those machines. Trash cans are still good for streaming and watching content on the internet. Are you calling those machines the trash cans, Randall? That's messed up. Randall says you have a very engaging voice. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I've spoken to Randall. I don't agree with what he's saying, that people what did they say? They fall asleep while they're talking to him, while he's talking to them. I don't believe that. So, okay. So Rob says you might also look into voiceover work in your native language, which could be in demand. If you're talking about me, that's where I'm messed up. I tell everyone, I'm Puerto Rican, but I think in English, so my native language will still not be Spanish. I'm fluent in it. I've been around it my entire life. I can read and write it, but I didn't go to school in Puerto Rico or in the Latin community, so everything that I was able to learn for reading and writing was self-taught because I wanted to learn that. It was something that I wanted to do and have the ability to do myself. But yeah, it's like I still get stuck on some words that I have like no meaning for it. And, sometimes I feel like that it's that I didn't know because I didn't go to school in Puerto Rico. But then sometimes it's just that there is no word to explain what I'm trying to explain from English and translate it to Spanish. There's just no word for it because it doesn't exist. And that's where I have trouble, because I don't know if it's that I don't know or that the word doesn't exist. Randall says, or it could be a bad microphone attached to the camera with the sound of my voice. Well, Randall, that's another thing. Most people, if you're looking to get into voiceover work, you're going to need to put a little bit of, and this is just for anyone. This is for anyone because this is just the things that I know before this was even presented to me. You're going to need to look into which microphone works best for your voice. And that's it. I have this little audio nook, one of those foam boards that cover so that you could actually get high quality sound and kind of high quality recordings. I don't know if I'm going to use this microphone to test it out or if I'm going to use my Zoom H5, because it really depends on which microphone sounds best for your voice. And in the future, I'm also going to be, future goals is that I want to get the pod mic. I think the pod mic is going to be better for what I'm doing right here as far as the live stream goes, and removing Aiden's background noise from the live stream. So with that being said, I also think that the pod mic could also be really good for the audio recordings because of the type of microphone that it is. So we'll see. But once again, I appreciate everything. I'm probably going to put a post within that Facebook community to see if anyone on that side might be interested in getting something done that they wanted to do as far as voiceover, that maybe I can help them with, just to see like I said, just to get my feet wet before I start connecting with all of these authors and, I guess the Amazon audiobooks, things like that. So the one good thing that I think I know that is just because of the YouTube aspect is that I've already been working on, upgrading my audio, and fixing that in post, and spending as much time on my audio edit as much as I do my video edit. Hopefully I sound good today, like I think last week I was still a little low. So hopefully this week I'm coming in good. I'm always tweaking it, trying to get it better. My video audio, I know that I've gotten a lot better, and this is a tip for anyone who's creating content out there, guys. I noticed a big difference in my view duration when I fixed my audio more than the video. Once I was able to fix the audio, and the audio wasn't like hard to hear, grainy, or anything like that. Once I fixed the audio and the audio was so much better, my retention on the videos went through the roof. Because the way the way I'm looking at it is like, if it's like a siren or a high-pitched sound that you're hearing, no matter how good the video is, you're gonna click out of it, because there's only so much of that you can hear and be discomforted before you click off the video. And if you're able to edit the audio and get that correct so that that's not an issue, then you're gonna have much better retention, because they're gonna have less reason for them to click away. And the reason why is because I've even noticed when I watch videos, I could be watching a video and I'm listening to it, and then Aiden does something and I turn away and my eyes are no longer on the screen. But if the audio is good, then I'm going to continue listening to it, which means I'm continuing to watch that video, comparative to the audio being bad and having me just like pause it or click away. So that's maybe a tip that you guys want to look into. But audio is very important. And my saying on that is bad audio is unwatchable. Okay, so Rob says, don't shave the beard, man. I'm not shaving the beard. That wasn't even an option. I appreciate you, Rob, but I'm just letting you know, like, that's not even an option. No, that's maybe one of the biggest reasons why I went into, working for myself and being an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, is just because, like, having a job tell me like, oh, you need to shave your face so that you can work here. Like, that's and that's a story for another day, because that's a very interesting story that I have. I'll let you guys know for another date. I used to work, still as a cell phone repair technician, but I was doing it for somebody else. I wasn't doing it for myself. And in that company, I wasn't even allowed to use my own name. I had to assume the role of an entity named Bobby. So I'll just let that marinate. We'll talk about that for another day. So Rob says, don't shave the beard, Rand. Says, I grew one for fun, then shaved it off. Could not stand the way it looked without it. I look way younger when shaved. A lot of gray in my beard, yet not gray in my hair on my head. Randall says, the volume is excellent tonight. Great. I agree with Randall. The audio is perfect. Great. Well, when it comes to the beard, look, I'm going to show you my left side, okay? And my left side has a lot more gray. Than my right. And let's not even go to the salt and pepper that I have here. But with me, I started going gray, and around here at the age of 13. So this has been a long time coming. So I guess that's why I'm not even afraid of my grays, and it is what it is. It's just hair. So I'll leave it as it is. Kyle, what's up, man? How are you doing, sir? Welcome to the live stream. I'm actually like an hour and a half in, and I was gonna be closing it out. But I appreciate you stopping by. All right, so Scott says, Lewis, maybe you can sing a song for Sly tonight. Oh man, God gave me the powers to be a musician. I'm a percussionist, but He did not give me the vocals. I might be able to do audiobooks, but singing is not my forte. I said it before. I could only hit the notes falsetto. Yeah, false, because there's nothing real about it. It's just horrible. So Kyle says, hi Lewis, just popping in for a second. Stream sounds and looks good. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you hanging out, man. I'm gonna be closing things out soon, but like I said, I go live every Saturday, so you're always welcome. I appreciate you hanging out, man. Rob says, you can use Fiverr for quick and cheap voiceover sales on demand. That's actually another option. That's true. I really don't know how the Fiverr works, but I gotta look into it just the same. Okay, so Kyle says, good, about to sleep. Oh, well, take care. You too, sir. Have a good one. I'll check you out, man. I'll talk to you later. Oh, and Kyle, if you're still here and you can hear this, I think that's a great idea with the contest. And if you need help judging, hey, just let me know. I would be happy to help, or anything that you need. Just hit me up, all right? Send me a DM. Okay, but with that, guys, this is the countdown. So now I'm going to tell you, if you have any other questions or anything, please leave them in the chat now so that I could address them. We're an hour and a half in. We are, at 1:30 a.m. And it seems like it's a good time to cut it off. So put in the last questions if you have them. If not, then I'm just going to start saying thank you to everyone. Thank you for hanging out. We're going to be working all of these things, all these kinks out when it comes to the live stream for next week. Is going to be my main goal to maybe either do this computer over to get it 100% for the live stream, or either that, or I'm gonna do the Mac. I'm gonna be doing some testing this week so that we can just get an even better experience and keep it running around. Rob says, I think your beard is part of your brand. Actually, you know what? You nailed it, because it is. And it's not only so much for MrCameraJunkie, but definitely it's part of my brand for Mr. Fix-It, my daytime phone repair. Like, to the point where I put pictures on my Instagram for MrCameraJunkie, and people don't understand that I can do both things. So they see my picture and they've left me messages on my MrCameraJunkie saying like, hey, aren't you the guy who fixes phones? So I find that funny. I'm like, yeah, one and the same. MrCameraJunkie, I'm also Mr. Fix-It. So there you go. But definitely. But the whole thing is that my brand is me, right? If I'm the brand. And like I said, when I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror, I see myself with a beard. This is how I see myself the most comfortable. It's who I am. So I don't ever see myself shaving. And it sounds crazy, but like, I just don't. I don't, like, why? I don't know. As of right now, there's no shaving in sight. That's where I'm going to leave it, but I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so everyone's saying goodnight. Well, I'm going to do the same. Everyone, Sly, Randall, Rob, Mario, Scott, Kyle, who stopped in here, Callie, who's been in here from the beginning, making sure that I don't miss anyone. Yeah, I think that was the crew for tonight. And for anyone who's been watching and maybe lurking and didn't participate in the chat, I appreciate you just the same way. Everyone, have a great and safe night. Stay safe, get some rest, Have a great week, and I will see everyone next time. Okay, think about this AI. I'm definitely gonna work on my computer and see maybe for next week, just to give you an update about the voiceover things. A lot of great information, so I do want to thank you guys again. I appreciate that. I'm gonna look into the audiobooks and maybe, like I said, start something small. Maybe see if I can do something on Fiverr to start off, and like I said, just to get my feet wet, just to see how the process works and see if it's something that I would really like to do moving forward. But as always, have a great night, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.